Hey guys, it's Non-Lammers of Invoked 101. Welcome back, and today we're going to be taking a look at the kind of the forgotten archetype from Genesis Impact, which, if you guys don't know, Genesis Impact is one of my favorite sets that we ever got. All three archetypes from it are amazing, and this deck has been neglected for some time, and I finally got around to finishing it out the other day when I was out looking for some stuff. I ended up finding a third Riliona and decided to sit down and work on the deck, and I quite like where it's at. It's a really interesting deck where it plays a lot of different things. It has a lot of unique mechanics, but it mainly works with a lockout mechanic thanks to their new Synchro monster from Burst of Destiny, which is quite a while behind now. But yeah, I figured we could take a quick look at this and just show it off. Anyways, before we get into the deck profile, don't forget to check down in that description. If you want to support the channel, that's the way to do it. I'm going to set the extra deck and spells and traps off to the side, and we'll get right into the main deck monsters. Starting us off, of course, is triple Riliona, the Magistus of Vir. Riliona is probably the best monster in the deck. She is the Stratos, where on normal or special, you can use one of these effects, add a Magistus spell or trap from deck to hand, or return a banished level 4 lower spellcaster to the graveyard. You can banish this card from grave, then target a Magistus monster you control, equip it with a Magistus monster from your graveyard, except a level 4. You can only use each effect of Riliona once per turn. She's 818. This is a really strong card, especially the banish effect to equip from the grave. That comes up quite a bit since you do have to kind of burn some of your equips early. But her and Crowley both do really well. And it's actually using her, and if you open Summoner Monk, you are able to basically get all 4 Magistus monsters on field really easily. It's pretty cool. Or at least all 4 of them in circulation. The other guy, the other best one, is Zorua, the Magistus of Flames. You can target 1 Magistus monster you control, equip it with 1 Magistus monster from your extra deck. If this card becomes equipped with a Magistus monster card, you can special summon 1 level 4 spellcaster monster from your hand or grave in defense position, except Zora, the Magistus of Flame, but its effects are negated. You can only use each effect of Zora, the Magistus of Flame, once per turn. 15/15 level 4 tuner, which is really good. Yeah, the special summon from grave is really amazing. It sets you up for synchro plays, sets you up for Xyz plays. To a degree, it sets you up for fusions, but not really. The main thing you're going to be doing is activating himself to equip himself with Artemis, and then using Artemis to search. When he gets equipped, you'll summon back, because typically I summon this off of the Xyz monster, but we'll talk more about that later. Next up is Crowley, the Magistus of Grimoire. It's a level 4 dark spellcaster. You can reveal you can send 1 spellcaster monster from your hand or face up field to the graveyard, special summon this card from your hand. You can declare 1 attribute. This card becomes that attribute until the end of this turn. You can banish this card from the grave, target a Magistus monster you control, equip it with a Magistus monster from grave, except a level 4. You can only use each effect of Crowley once per turn. 1000. Very strong monster, obviously. Another special summoner, which is really nice. I think he's actually the only inherent, quote-unquote inherent special summon in the deck. Other ways you have to use the rank 4 or Zorua, but yeah, Crowley is really good for that. Then we play 3 Endymion, the Magistus of Mastery. Endymion is not the strongest of the Magistus monsters. He says you can target a Magistus monster you control, equip it with a Magistus monster from the extra deck. You target 1 face-up spell you control, destroy it. If you do, draw a card, then place 1 card from your hand on the bottom of the deck. You can only use each effect of Endymion, the Magistus of Mastery, once per turn. So yeah, not super great, just a cycling effect, but he still is useful for getting the extra equips on field. The last kind of usable monster we play is 3 Summoner Monk, and I'm gonna be real with you guys. Summoner Monk runs this deck. If you open Summoner Monk, you're golden. So because Summoner Monk, of course, is able to discard a spell card and special summon a level 4 monster from the deck. So you're typically summoning Riliona searching Trismegistus, and then making the rank 4. This guy is really useful for the strategy and 100% necessary for it. You'll also notice they're all different attributes. You have a fire, a dark, Vir is a light, and then Endymion is a water. So there we go. Yeah, only 1 tuner though. Only Zorua for the tuners. That's not it for the monsters. We do play hand traps. We were playing 3 Ash and 3 Veiler. Pretty stock standard hand trap lineup. This is just, you could also switch these for imperms. It's really just 6 slots for hand traps, so this is where you throw those. Then we are playing the spells and traps for Magistus. This is the most important one, obviously. Triz Magistus. This card is absolutely bonkers. It is basically a Salamangre circle for the deck. It says the first time each Magistus monster equipped with an equipped card would be destroyed by battle each turn. It is not. And then it says you can use the following effects of Triz Magistus once per turn, and only once that turn. It says during your main phase, you can special summon a level 4 spellcaster from your hand, or you can send this face-up card to the graveyard, special summon any number of Magistus monsters with different names from your hand. So, like I said, really strong, and it's very similar to Salamangreat Circle. The next up is the spell card, Magistus Vitra. Vitra says target level 4 or lower Magistus in your graveyard and special summon it. If a Magistus card in your spell and trap zone would be destroyed by opponent's card effect, you can banish this card instead. You can only use each effect once per turn. Yeah, really strong card. It's a monster reborn for the archetype, which is always nice. I've thought about playing 3, but 2 is definitely where it's at. You don't want to brick on it. The last Magistus ones, we're playing Thurgy, which says target a Magistus monster you control, equip it with a Magistus monster except a level 4 from your extra deck, graveyard, or face up field. That's the reason that we're only playing 1, is because it can't equip the level 4s. It also doesn't always come up with the fact that like Endymion and Zora can do it, and Riliona and Crowley can do it from the graveyard as well. So you don't really need this too much. And then it says if you have at least one card, one each Magistus Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, and Link monster in your graveyard, you can equip it with a non-Magistus Fusion, Synchro, Xyz from your extra deck instead. I don't play anything that works with that. You guys can. It's just not an effect that I feel goes off too much. The last one we play is one Magistus Invocation. Magistus Invocation, fusion summon a fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as material, including a spellcaster. If summoning a Magistus fusion monster this way, you can also use monsters from your spell and trap zones that are equipped to a Magistus monster. This does come up. I will say I have thought about taking out the Thurgy and putting in a second invocation, because ending Iwaz, if your end board is Zorua Iwaz, that's such a strong board, because typically Zorua is equipped with 2 different types of monsters, so which locks out your opponent, and then Iwaz equipping, and then now you have fusion, which is one of the most important strategies right now with Branded running around. So I do feel that maybe playing another Magistus Invocation would be right, especially if I was going to build this a more competitive way. Next up, we are playing triple Magicalized Fusion, which might be a touch too much, but I like the Magicalized Fusion. This lets you summon Quintet Magician. There's a lot of ways to load spellcasters into your graveyard. And then it also lets you summon Mysterion, which is kind of another piece of interaction that you can do. Mysterion is interesting. This deck does dump dragons to the graveyard, specifically Vafram. So yeah, Magicalized Fusion. You could cut this down to 2, maybe even 1 if you really wanted to, but I'm playing 3 just because I like it. 2 Spellbook of Knowledge and 2 Secrets for some draw power. 2 Secret Village of the Spellcasters and 1 Terraforming, obviously for deck locking. This is a stun deck. I didn't realize Magistus was a stun deck until I started like rebuilding it and playing with the new Synchro monster, who really does bring the strategy together. I will say that real quick. 1 Called By and 1 Monster Reborn. This could also be Upstart Goblin if you really wanted it to. It was Upstart in my digital build. Couldn't find an Upstart, but hey, 3rd Monster Reborn doesn't hurt. That's it for the main deck. I've liked this deck, and when it goes off, it goes off. Basically, you just have to open Summoner Monk, a spell, and then like one of these. Like it's really, really strong, in my opinion, in the way of a casual deck. It's not incredibly powerful, it's not meta defining, but the deck does do some cool stuff. Moving into the extra deck, and I have messed up my extra deck for the thumbnail. Moving to the extra deck, we have 2 Iwaz, the Magistus Spell Spirit. This card is absolutely bonkers. Like, it's a level 8 fusion. It says it needs a Magistus and a Spellcaster. While this card is an equipped card, the equipped monster gains 1,000 attack and defense. That's not too bad. That's pretty alright. But the main effect here is Quick Effect. During the main phase, you can target one other face-up monster on the field. Equip this monster you control to it. If this card was equipped to an opponent's monster by this effect, take control of the equipped monster. Also, it can't activate its effects. You can only use this effect of Iwaz once per turn. It's 2028, so you basically summon them in defense and you wait. You just, whatever monster they take, you steal it, and then that's that. It's incredible. This is such a strong monster, and when you have Zoroa on the board, it does lock them out of fusion effects. Then we're playing one Quintet Magician. This needs 5 spellcaster monsters. Must be fusion summoned. If this card is fusion summoned using 5 spellcasters with different names, you can destroy all cards your opponent controls. Face-up card on the field cannot be attributed nor use this fusion material, and it can't be destroyed by card effects. So it's basically a big beefy boss monster that's like, okay, I can't do anything. Let me summon Quintet with Magicalized. Then we're playing one Mysterion the Dragon Crown. This is a really weird fusion monster. It came out quite a while ago in Lightning Overdrive, and I've always wanted to find this card a home. I knew that it's a Magicalized fusion card because it is a spellcaster, and it is one of those things that's like, okay, this isn't super great. But what it says can't be used as fusion material. This card loses 100 attack for each of your banished cards. If a monster uses its activated effect to special summon, or a monster with its same original type, hang on. Okay, so its effect is can't be used as fusion material. This card loses a 100 attack for each banished card. If a monster uses its activated effect to special summon itself or a monster with its same original type, except during damage step, you can target one of those special summoned monsters, banish that monster. Also banish all monsters from the field with its same original type. You can only use each effect of Mysterion the Dragon Crown once per turn. 3k 15, so it's coming in at a 2800 that can banish stuff if they keep summoning things. This would be really strong against things like Dragon Link and things like anything that is monotyping. Drytron is in that same vein, so yeah. For the synchros, we are playing the brand new one, Zoroa the Magistus Conflagrate Calamity. This is your boss monster. This is the boss monster of the deck, like full stop. If I had a second one, which I know I do somewhere, I just don't know where it is, I would be playing it since the extra deck is currently at 13, I believe. It's either at 13 or 14, so there is a little bit of wiggle room in here. It says one spellcaster tuner, one or more non-tuners. It says if this card is synchro summoned, you can equip one Magistus monster from your extra deck to this card. Your opponent cannot activate the effects of monsters with the same card type, Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Link, as a Magistus monster in your spell and trap zone. That is the most important part about this card, is one, he comes out, he equips himself with a guy from the extra deck, and he locks out your opponent from using other ones. By using things like Artemis to equip herself to this, and using Rilliona and Crowley to equip other things from the graveyard to this, which you want to be doing, you want to be equipping throughout your turn, so that way you can use Rilly and Crowley to equip to this guy. You can shut out your opponent's entire extra deck. And then it says, if this card is in your graveyard, you can target a Magistus card you control, pop it, and if you do special summon this card, you can only control one. You can only use this effect of Zora, the Magistus Conflagrate Calamity, once per turn. 2915, and if you equip it with Iwas, it does become a 3900 beater. That is a pretty stocky boy. But yeah, definitely a strong monster for the deck, and using cards like Vitra, you can protect it as well as its back row for some time. Then you can also use cards like Varham, the Magistus Divinity Dragon. This is also the fusion material for Mysterion. Varham says it needs a tuner and one or more non-tuner monsters. While this card is an equipped card, the equipped monster cannot be destroyed by opponent's spell and trap effects. There you go. You equip it. I knew there was a way to do it. I just couldn't remember that it was this guy. It says you can only use each of the following effects of Varham once per turn. If the synchro summon card is destroyed, you can destroy all face-up cards your opponent controls at the start of the damage step. If the monster this card is equipped to battles an opponent's monster, you can destroy that monster. So a very beefy equip card to equip to your Zoroa. Locks your opponent out of synchros, which is another really strong one. But the ability to just swing and pop and turn your guy into a semi-unkillable construct is pretty cool. For the Xyz monsters, we have the best one, Rilliona, the Wondrous Magistus Witch of Wardrobe. So Rilliona is the best one. She is the best one, full stop. And you're usually making her with Rilliona and Summoner Monk, because she does need 2 level 4 spellcasters with different attributes, which sounds difficult at first, but you remember all these guys are different attributes, and Summoner Monk does spit out a free guy. So as long as you are using Summoner Monk to its full potential, this card is fantastic. It says you can detach a material from this card, special summon a Magistus monster from your deck. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn, except Magistus, which is fine. You usually aren't going into Magistus monsters, except for the ones... You aren't going into extra deck monsters, except for Magistus monsters on turn 1. It says... while this card is equipped to a monster, you can target one effect monster your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of this turn. You can only use each effect of Liliana, the Wondrous Magistus Witch of Wardrobe, once per turn. She's 1028. So pretty stocky. It's almost the same stats as Iwas, but 1,000 shorter. Yeah, this is an insane card. It's a what's it called? MX Saber Invoker for the deck, and it works wonders. Unfortunately, the target and negate effect is not quick, or else this card 100% would be worth running 3 of, not only just to summon, because you do want to use it, but also to equip. Next up, we're playing Ninaru, the Magistus Glass Goddess. Ninaru is the kind of mid. She's not super great from what I recall, although her equip effect is kind of nice. It needs 2 level 4 spellcaster monsters while being a rock. It says while this card is an equipped card, the equipped monster can make 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase. And then it says you can only use each of the following effects in Ninaru once per turn. You can detach one material from this card, target a level 4 or higher spellcaster in your grave, add it to your hand. While this card isn't equipped to a monster, you can target a Magistus card in your spell and trap zone, and one spell and trap your opponent controls, destroy them. So nice little piece of removal, but again, not the best one. I definitely feel that Varham is stronger in terms of being an equip. Next up, we have one Crowley. This card should be the 3rd Artemis, honestly. Like, full, straight up, this card should be the 3rd Artemis. Artemis, the Magistus Moon Maiden, is a fantastic card. It needs a level 4 lower spellcaster. And says if another Magistus monster is normal or special, while you control this monster, except during damage step, you can target one of those monsters, equip this card to it. While this card is equipped to a monster, you can add 1 Magistus monster from the deck to the hand. You can only use each effect of Artemis, the Magistus Moon Maiden, once per turn. You can only special summon Artemis, the Magistus Moon Maiden, once per turn. Which you normally are. Normally what you're doing is you're equipping her from off of Zoroa, activating her effect to search Crowley, and then before you synchro into Zoroa, you normally link into her, so that way when Zoroa comes out, you can straight equip this to him, and then equip something else. So yeah, you don't typically special summon her more than once, mainly because you can't, but also because you don't need to. You can totally get away with not doing that. And like I said, this Crowley should really be the 3rd Artemis. But that is it for the Magistus deck. I know this deck isn't great. I know it's not like good by most standards, but it is fun. It is a neat little stun deck, and it has a lot of cool lore based in Yu-Gi-Oh around it, and I always like it when Yu-Gi-Oh kind of self-indulges in its own fantasy and its own lore. But yeah, let me know what you thought about Magistus in the comments below. Let me know what I can do to make this deck better. As always, I love to hear your guys' suggestions, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.